Today we're looking at a scenario where Africa and South America go to war. Also, by the way, Chad is too Chad for this, so they're staying out. Look, that even looks like the Chad meme. Look at that. It's the exact same. Anyways. So we're gonna have these two continents that go together like puzzle pieces, going up against each other. First, from using their front in Senegal and Simontones, we have them capturing a Brazilian island and going into northern Brazil. Africa is the blue team, by the way. If you can already tell. We then have another landing in southern Brazil and an attempted encirclement, which can only be turned into a spearhead. Spearhead. I haven't done mapping in a while. Shut up. With this, we have Brasilia being fairly exposed, so Brazil says, "No, you." They are able to cut off the troops and push them out of South America. Back over in the northern front, we have a Brazilian counteroffensive, and Africa is pushed out of South America. I should probably color in France, but sure, I'll color in France because it's in South America. By that logic, I should color in Britain, but screw Britain. Argentina owns the Falkland Islands, prove me wrong. Anyway, so we have a massive South American landing, as South America does contain the 10th strongest country, Brazil in it. So we have a African landing over in West Africa, into Nigeria, Cameroon, Equatorial Guinea, Samar Islands, Togo, Benin, and I don't know, as well as Nigeria. This front ends up expanding and gets an encirclement, and then they go down this river that goes from this to Syria and Leone, capture it by encircling it, and they're able to wipe it out. We have another landing over in Namibia, but this obviously fails because it's South Africa. You can't do anything in Southern Africa. The island of Simontones is captured, and a push into Gambia and Senegal is made. This front outstends into the Sahara Desert, and it's eventually cut off. France lands up in northern Africa, a bit too familiar. And Africa decides to let South America capture more of their territory so they can get France out of here. With this, a massive blitzkrieg of African troops is able to kick France out. I've got to color in Corsica. And Africa decides to try to take out France for the best. They take over the island of Corsica and they start taking over parts of the country somehow. France is able to push back, but in the front line stays like this until France just decides to peace out of this war. Although French Guiana declares independence, so yeah, technicalities. With this, Africa can refocus, and Africa is it's a very diverse place, so they're having a bit of trouble pushing them back, but it ends up working in the end. The front in Equatorial Guinea is barely being held out, but it gets an expansion opportunity. It goes into the Congo, and then it enters the Democratic Republic of the Congo, I should say. With this being one of the stronger countries, the front is wiped out. Mali troops start pushing in, trying to get into the Sierra Leone, but it fails. And a massive naval invasion goes into Morocco. Northern Africa spent most of its resources on France, so this is a pretty clean sweep. And Algeria is cut into two, as well as Libya. With this, all of this Northern African front is completely wiped out. But then something over in South America happens, and that's America. America invades Venezuela, completely taking over the country, to sort out its problems. And guess what also happens? It's a bonjour. So yeah, French Guiana and Venezuela are now out of the game. So with this, South America is weakened, which allows for an African push into the north, and as well over into West Africa, which are starting to see more and more success already. Simontones is captured, and the push down from Gambia is continued, and Sierra Leone is liberated. African troops continue pushing in very slowly, and eventually only one small front is held out. Then the South American troops in Northern Africa go down to try to liberate this front, and they have to make a few naval invasions to get to it, but it ends up working. The entire chain is relinked, um, and with this, the war's kind of in a stalemate, except for Semitones being captured. We see some small islands, which includes Equatorial Guinea's capital. But other than this, not much. Ethiopia, Nigeria, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Egypt, Sudan, all of Southern Africa are the main suppliers of this war, so it's not really going anywhere at this point. South America tries to get a blitzkrieg going on, but it's not as successful as they're going through a literal desert. What'd I do? Dang it. Someone play a meme sound to make this funny, because I don't know, that's funny apparently. So with this, back over to the Blitzkrieg, they get somewhat into West Africa, and they start taking over more of the country, or continent, I should say. But this is basically the height of what South America's gonna get. They push in a little bit more into Algeria and Libya, but at this point they're just stopped at a desert. With this, we see massive African pushback, as they're much more used to this, and they're also being supported. They're also being supported by the U.S. and other countries a lot more than South America, which is extremely corrupt. Africa is extremely corrupt as well, but South America, like Jesus. Have you seen the Brazilian police force? Eventually, Morocco is completely liberated, and South America is no longer in Africa. With this, we have the invasion of South America going a lot better this time, as Brazil is entered into. With this, after experiencing some Brazilian pushback, they decide to retreat out of this and gather every single troop they have. Using all of their troops combined, they march right into Brazil and are able to take the capital of Brasilia. With this, South America is extremely unrestful, and they just start collapsing. Brasilia is the first to go, and Bolivia is entered into, as well as Paraguay, and northern Chile is taken out completely. Chile surrenders. Argentina, all the no Germans in Argentina don't work, so Paraguay falls with that. Brazil continues to collapse, and Peru just surrenders, as well as Ecuador. Cocaine Hippo surrenders, and with this, they all just surrender. Falkland Islands are eventually taken out, and that's the end. Peace.